Welcome to PHP Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando. And
why are you laughing over there?
Because we kind of had another intro where we thought, what if we made a Doomsday episode kind of deal? And I don't know. Maybe we'll do it in the outtakes one time. But anyways, welcome to PHP Podcast, a place where you can thrive and you can live your best life.
Yeah, and this is a Monday mini, and we love our Monday minis where we pack a lot of information in a small amount of space. And speaking of packing a lot of things in a small space, today we're talking about organization. That was smooth, right?
I didn't even practice
good.
That was good. So
comment below. Was that good or was that cringe? How cringe was it? Or was that pretty smooth? It was on the fly. I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I thought that was pretty good.
There you go. So, hey, make sure to subscribe. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that like button and that bell notification to know when our episodes drop. And so a lot of you have hit us up on social media and said, hey, can you guys talk about organization real quick? And so I thought, why not? Why not do a mini-sode? And again, I want to say that what we're going to share is probably 99% of what we do. There may be some that we've taken from others. Our good friend Sell Quick Ship Quick do a great job of organizing inventory, and there's some others out there. I mentioned them because I've directly been where they store their stuff, how they organize it, and I can, I know that they do a great job. But I wanted to talk about quick tips to organization, just because right now, this is part of our getting ready for Q4 episode was, hey, if things are slow and it's the summer, which I hope things aren't slow for you guys, but you don't want to be organizing during Q4. So why don't we talk about this real quick? So this is what I want to start with. Start now. If you're a new reseller, don't just buy a bunch of stuff and just shove it in a corner. As I'm looking at one of my corners right now of inventory, don't do that. That is one of the worst things you can do, because as you scale your store, it's going to get harder to find things. So you got to start right away.
Yeah. And the hard part is you really don't know how big you're going to be. You don't know what level you're going to kind of finally stop and say, this is where my store is going to be. Now I just have to maintain this. There are going to be some growing pains, right? You can get organized and say, I have one tote for shoes, one tote for clothes, one tote for this. Well, that works until now you've got a few pairs that don't fit in that tote of shoes and a couple of pairs of pants that don't fit in the pants tote. And so you're well, I'll just put the shoes and the pants, the run over in this one tote, right? Because there's that, do I really want to start two more totes? And there will definitely be growing pains to an extent, but what Orlando said is correct. You want to start now, because if you do just say everything goes into one tote because, hey, I know where things are, it's easy, the shoes are at the bottom. Well, once you got 12 totes, 20 totes, 100 totes, it's which one had the shoes at the bottom of clothes and stuffed animals again? I don't remember. So yeah, you want to start now and at least have a system that's growable, right? Where you can think, I've got 10 items in my store. How would I organize it if it was 100? What would it look like if I was at 500? And then maybe you're okay, that's a good point. I'll figure out after that. As I get closer to 500, I'll think of the next step or something like that. But kind of have in your mind what it would look like and start working towards that now. So that way you're not redoing everything every few months.
Agreed. And also along with that, you want to make sure, this is my second point, you want to touch your inventory only 3 times. You want to touch it when you source it, when you list it, and when you ship it. And if it gets to a place that you're touching it more than that, right? Because maybe you do have it crammed in a corner, or maybe it's, maybe you're in a small condo I was in a while, and in order for you to get to somewhere, you have to move your inventory and so on. You don't want to do that. You're going to lose a lot of time over your life. You're going to lose a lot of time in your business. And again, it's good business practice. I would think, and I've heard this from a lot of resellers, and I've also heard this from, $1 million companies, you want to touch your inventory the least amount of times possible. And for me, the magic number is 3: source, list, ship. Those are the only times that you should do it. And organization obviously is in there during the listing process.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes into the listing in a sense of actually taking it out, taking the pictures, moving it. But yeah, you don't want to, if you have to move, it stinks. You got to do what you got to do. But again, you're going to be happier organized, right? I had to move my stuff from my warehouse room to a temporary RV holding spot to my shed, right? So I had to move that stuff multiple times. And as I was buying things, I'm moving it a bunch of times. So you're going to go through phases where that might have to happen. But the more organized you are, the easier that move's going to be. My wife is the one that does a lot of our organization as far as what to pull, where it's going to be put when we list things. So I had to do the entire move pretty much by myself because she's so pregnant. And because of how organized we are, she didn't need to like oversee and say, these totes go here, these totes. I just knew it'll be easy. We keep the shoe totes down here where they kind of were in the other place. So if you're organized, even a thing like a move becomes easier.
Yeah. So again, 3 touches. You want to be organized in a way that you're only sourcing, listing, and shipping. And those are the only opportunities you have to touch those items. All right. Next, organize similar items. And the reason I say this is you should already have and we'll talk about custom SKU labels, but you should have, all your shoes should be in the same place. All your shirts should be in the same place, all your pants and so on. Now, that's just for the sake of initial organization, but that's also for the sake that when you're at a place where you're really organized, you're still going to make mistakes, right? So you may accidentally put, a certain shirt in a different tote and you didn't put the custom SKU label on that. And you're like, oh no, where is it? Now, if everything is in the same place, right? If you have for example, I have a lot of Harley Davidson. So all my Harley Davidson is stored in the same totes. I don't put them, even if there's room in another tote, I won't put it in another tote because, what's to say that accidentally, I don't put a custom SKU label and then I got to find it and it's not in my Harley totes. Then where is it? I could be spending hours looking through another 20, 30 totes. So you want to keep it all together I would say just in case you misplace something, you don't put the right custom SKU label, you want to be able to locate it still because all in the same familiar area.
Yeah. And that even helps in a lot of ways with listing. If you have, let's say, shoes, you've got a pile of 30 shoes that you've collected over the last couple of weeks of sourcing and you haven't listed them yet because you're waiting till you have a good sized pile. Then you take those pictures and then you're only going to one location when you're putting stuff away, right? Like my shoes all fit in this one section of where I store things. And you're not like, well, let me find a empty tote in this side of the room. And then I've got to walk over and then I got to go into this other room to find another empty tote. So if you're listing similar things, which is also kind of a time saving hack, if you're doing shirts, just pump out as many shirts as you can. So you're not switching between shirt to pants to glasses to gloves to Legos. Yeah. So if you're listing a certain specific thing, it makes it easier. If you're organizing and those things all go to the same location, that's just fewer steps you're taking. That's time you're saving and a lot of hassle you're going to save.
Agreed. All right. Next, use a custom SKU label for eBay. And then Amazon also allows you to use a SKU. Now, the initial use for all these devices is for location. Right? You just want to be able to know where things are. And if you're wondering where the custom SKU label is for eBay, it's in your listing. It's probably like 4 or 5 down on the desktop or the laptop. On the app, it's the very last thing under item specifics. Why it's all the way at the bottom? No idea. I mean, you have to scroll twice, I think, to get to it. But it's there. It is and you need to make this part of your listing. Right. There's 2 ways to do it. Right. You either during your listing, you know exactly where it's going to go and you put it in there, or after the fact, when you're storing things away, make sure you put it on there. It's whatever's easier for you, but that is going to be your go-to help. Now, on Amazon, you could also do this, right? If you're doing merchant fulfilled, you make your SKU and you can create your SKU in a way where it lists your location, where it's at. Now, there's other things you can do with this custom SKU label. You can also put other data. You can put, where you sourced it, right? Like you can, put the letters GW if you got it from someplace, or you can get it from, retail arbitrage if you got that from TJ. You could also put the price that you sourced it for. So then whenever you get an offer and you kind of forget how much you actually paid for something, it's in your custom SKU label, right? I do this with Amazon because sometimes, year to year, as I sell some of the same things during Q4, I remember how much I might have stuff from 2 Q4s ago that I'm selling again. For whatever reason, I didn't sell that first time around. And I know how much I initially paid for it and I know what store. So I'll put something like, toy 25. So I know I paid $25 for this, or I'll say toy 25 TJ and I know I got it from TJ Maxx. And whatever information you want to use it for, I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't have to be like, A1 or A2. Like it's what you want it to be.
And however you do it, make sure you're consistent. So
yes,
that way,
100%.
because a big part of it is going to be, if you're pulling data and you want the information, you want to be able to sort it, and you want to see the date that you bought stuff. Well, if you know in a sequence of 3 numbers, the date an item was purchased is always the second number. So the first number might be the tote, the first like section of numbers. Then the next is like when you got it. And then the last one is the price, right? Or however you have it. So be consistent. So don't sometimes put the date as the third one and then sometimes put the date as the first one. Always have it the exact same, because if you ever pull the custom SKU information into Excel or a spreadsheet and you're wanting to like do a little bit of research on things, like how much am I paying for these types of items or where is this at? You don't want to say like, wait, which one is the date again? Which one was the price again? So be consistent. So figure out something that works for you and maybe make a key, have that key somewhere in a Google Drive of like the first number means this, the second set of numbers means this. That way too, if you have a helper, I can't believe I just said that.
Yes,
I feel like I want to throw up a little bit in my mouth. If you have an employee, if you hire somebody, they can follow that system, right? So you want to have something that's easy to teach other people as well.
Agreed. All right. And the last one, efficiency over aesthetics. And am I saying that last? Aesthetics?
Aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the reason I say this is because you may get caught up in making everything look nice. And it's great. You want to have everything look nice, but is it costing you time and is it costing you money, right? You got to be aware of that. So
it's a balance. To me, this is a balance. So,
okay.
I mean, efficiency is weighted more heavily. It's more important that you're efficient. But at the same time, I think that at least for me, and I think for a lot of people too, having things look clean and nice and organized is going to help have a better mindset.
No, I get that. The only reason, let me give you an example and then I'll let you finish.
Sure.
Like, so for example, I know somebody that was using totes and it looked, they're all the same tote and it looked really uniform and organized, right? It was nice. It looked pretty, right? But then it was taking them too much time to get the totes down, to undo the tote, to look for the item, right? So instead, they ended up I think they went to IKEA and they got like clear plastic bins and they didn't put the lid over it. They just left it open. And so, you look at the shelf and it doesn't look all uniformed, right? Because you have all these you have the same, clear bins, but there's all kinds of randomness happening. But they're able to see their item faster. They're able to locate it faster. They're able to get it faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's good. I think, you've got to be efficient and anywhere you can save time. But again, that was all uniform. But I think where I would draw the line is unless you need that efficiency. So I'm just thinking like, okay, if you've got a wall of totes and you can fit one more tote up at the top, basically going up to the ceiling.
I agree.
If you change to like a different style tote for one of them. So then like now all of a sudden you've got mismatched totes because it's like, but I can fit in a little bit more this way. It's like, it just doesn't look as good. It changes the feel, So it's a balance. I think it weighs more heavily towards efficiency, but at the same time, being in a room that's decorated it looks efficient and clean and organized is going to let you run more optimally, even if maybe it's 5% less efficient in some ways.
No, I see what I mean, the reason I wanted to jump in was because I had 10 totes that didn't look like all my other totes. And they were just, one I got at a thrift store, one somebody gave to me. And so, I saved myself a couple bucks, but it just
throws it off.
It just threw it off, right? I couldn't fit as many in some of them and into others. And when I stacked them, it wasn't uniform and it bothered me. So yeah, I get that aesthetic part, but you got to be efficient. Here's the thing. You have to get to a place, I believe, that you should be able to locate your item in less than a minute, and that's it. Like if it takes you more than a minute, then you're spending too much time. Like and again, I don't have a warehouse. Okay, I'm saying those individuals that have maybe at the most 5,000 items. So I'm close to 3,000, and I would say every item that I sell, the moment it sells, I can locate the item and get it out of my storage in less than a minute. And so that's the way I've worked it. I've put things in strategic places. And so it's really quick. I've organized it really quick. So for example, like my buckles, I put my buckles in smaller boxes. So there's less buckles in each box and it's easier to find, because if I put a box that has 100 buckles I'm going to have to be flipping through all those buckles. Even if I have them nicely organized, like an index file, whatever, you still got to flip through all of them.
Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that hard. I mean, I wish I had the time and patience and the willingness to, pay my helper to do that. But, I use smaller boxes and it's been quick, like less than 30 seconds. I find what I need. So efficiency over aesthetics.
Yeah.
All right, so hopefully this mini-sode helped you organize real quick. Hopefully it meant what you need. If you have any tips that you want to give us on how you're efficient in your organization, let us know. But now is the time to organize. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.